When Kanye West was just 5 years old, he got a hold of a Playboy magazine that his father had accidentally left out. He views this moment as the beginning of his lifelong battle with temptation, and since then he's faced a constant struggle between the colliding worlds of hip-hop stardom and material world wealth, and being a good Christian. When Kanye burst into the scene in the early to mid-2000s, the song Jesus Walks perfectly painted his spiritual struggle and the conflicts between hip-hop and Christianity. In the song, he rhymes, "They say you can rap about anything except for Jesus. That means guns, sex, lies, videotapes. But if I talk about God, my record won't get played." In his mother Donda's autobiography, she was incredibly proud of this song and wrote, "To tell someone they must believe in God is not nearly as effective as believing in God yourself and having them see what results from your faith." It should be noted that Jesus Walks was written, or at least heavily co-written, by Rhymefest. That being said, Ye continued to promote a positive Christian message again in his second album with his song Heard Him Say. If you only heard Jesus Walks and Heard Him Say, you could envision Ye being the perfect poster child for Christian and mainstream hip-hop music. However, this was only one aspect of Ye, and he became known more for ego and self-interest rather than anything related to his spirituality as time progressed. As Alex Hagel from Page 6 notes that, West would take a detour before coming back to Jesus, and given the titles of the songs, Champion, Stronger, Can't Tell Me Nothing, Amazing, Power, to think West was focused on anything other than being Kanye West. In 2007, Ye lost his mother Donda through complications during cosmetic surgery. As is often the case, Ye seemed to somewhat lose his faith after something deeply unjust and unfair happened to him. In a press conference in New Zealand, he seemed not to dismiss but distance himself from Christianity by saying, "My whole life, they're like, I was raised as a Christian, and they're like, be Christ-like, be Christ-like." I'm like, no, I don't want to effing be Christ-like. I want to be me-like. I want to be the best me, because you're going to fall short of being Christ-like, and then you'll never quite be happy. That being said, his music always contained religious imagery. In his 2010 album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the song Devil in a New Dress makes a direct link between his desire for sex and the devil. A year later, he also released No Church in the Wild with Jay-Z and Frank Ocean. This religious imagery would culminate in his 2013 album, Yeezus. In this album, Ye compared himself to Jesus and had a song called I Am a God. And comparing yourself to Jesus and calling yourself a god is condemned in every Abrahamic faith. However, the Christian rapper Lecrae had a different viewpoint on this period of time. On the Yeezus tour, Ye brought on an actor to play the role of Jesus, who he regularly talked to on stage. Lecrae saw this and other things on the tour as a sign of what was yet to come. In a YouTube video titled, "Is Kanye West a Christian?" he said, "Going on the Yeezus tour and just seeing him want to sincerely put some things forward. He did a lot of those things with intentionality, him wanting to meet with Jesus. I would say all of that was a time period for him where he was in its infancy of what it was with this relationship with Jesus would look like." Around this time, Ye had become a father, and in 2015, he got his daughter North baptized in Jerusalem. However, this looks to be mainly Kim Kardashian's idea, as North was baptized in an Armenian church to reflect her heritage. That being said, Ye wanted to raise his kids as Christian as he was raised. A year later, Ye's Christianity would bleed into the release of The Life of Pablo, which was heavily influenced by gospel music, although not completely a gospel album yet, particularly Ultralight Beam and Father Stretch My Hands 1 and 2. He also worked with Chance the Rapper on this album, who would fully embrace his own faith with his own album coloring book later that year. But during the Life of Pablo tour, Ye was hospitalized with severe mental health problems, an experience that moved him even closer to embracing Christianity again. When he was in the hospital, he finally had some space. After spending so much time on music, fashion, and his new family, among other things, he finally had time to be alone with his own thoughts. Ye at this time began to question everything. This led him to conclusions that were entirely at odds with his fan base and the people surrounding him. In particular, his support for Trump was something that caught many fans off guard. Ye's support for Trump, whether you agree with it or not, seems to come from Trump being an outsider like himself. And this support for Trump brought him into contact with people outside of his usual social circles, such as commentators from the Christian right, such as Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. And mixing with these people may be part of why he started showing some fairly hardline Christian views in the future. In 2018, Ye produced several short albums, but more importantly, there's an album that he decided not to release that year, Yandi. This album was more or less finished, but was not something he wanted to put out into the world. He was clearly in a different place now, and this would become apparent in 2019. That year, Ye debuted Sunday Service, an invite-only gathering where songs were reworked using a gospel choir. On Jimmy Kimmel, his then-wife Kim said, "There's no sermon, there's no word, it's just music, and it's just a feeling." Her sister Courtney clarified that the event was Christian, and this service was then brought to Coachella later that year. As well as embracing Christian music, Kanye also started promoting traditional Christian values. In July, he spoke about how he and Kim thought about having an abortion when she was pregnant with North, and gave a tearful speech promoting his pro-life views. He also appeared in an interview with Big Boy and ranted about hip-hop culture and how he now feels ostracized from it. Ye said, "The culture has you so focused on effing somebody else's chick and pulling up in a foreign and rapping about things that can get you locked up and then saying you about prison reform. Democrats had us voting for Democrats for food stamps for years, bro. What you talking about? Guns in the 80s, taking the fathers out the home, Plan B, lowering our votes, making us abort our children. God shall not kill." Also that year, he appeared on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and explained to his wife that he would like her to dress more modestly. Ye said, "I just went through this transition from being a rapper, looking at all these girls and looking at my wife like, oh, my girl needs to be just like the other girls showing her body off. I didn't realize that was affecting my soul and my spirit as someone that's married and the father of now about to be 4 kids. A corset is a form of underwear. It's hot. For who, though?" Kim would say something that would become more apparent later on and said, "Just because you're on a journey and transformation doesn't mean I'm in the same spot with you." In October of that year, Ye released his 9th studio album, Jesus is King, where every song continued a Christian message without any profanity or sexual content. To promote this album, he did an interview with Zane Lowe and confided about the Playboy magazine he found when he was 5 years old. "For me, Playboy was my gateway and to full-on P addiction. My dad had left a Playboy out at age 5, and it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life." He goes on to say, "You know that Playboy that I found when I was 5 years old was written all over the moment when I was at the MTV Awards with the Timberlands, the Balmain jeans, before people were rocking Balmain jeans, and the Hennessy bottle. It's like that was such a script out of a rock star's life. My mom had passed a year before, and I said some people drown themselves in drugs, and I drowned myself in my addiction." While many Christians were delighted to have someone with Ye's platform promoting their faith, his newfound spirituality was not without its critics. The Sunday service was invite-only and sold merch, which included a $225 hoodie that read "Trust God." Ye also got hit with 2 class action lawsuits which alleged mistreatment of promoters and staff, including lack of payment. For a newfound man of faith, money still seemed to be a pretty big component of it, although these events did cost money, so that is another counterpoint. And after the Big Boy interview, Trevor Noah from The Daily Show called him a hypocrite and made reference to the song "I Love It" that he did with Lil Pump only a year prior. Noah said, "You, as Kanye West? I'd rather buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. That Kanye West? Like, are you serious? You're such a effing hoe, I love it? That Kanye West is gonna talk trash about rappers effing chicks?" In 2021, Ye released the album Donda. This LP came shortly after his wife had filed for divorce, and was clearly made during a difficult part of his life. For Lecrae, this was a marriage of Jesus is King with all of the music he made before. It's more interwoven. It's more him trying to say, okay, the Kanye who I've always been and the Kanye who I'm becoming are meeting in music. And we're processing this together and trying to figure out the best way to do this. Donda, an album named after the person who imparted her Christian values to Kanye, would be the perfect finishing spot in Ye's spiritual journey. But since then, Ye's faith has taken a somewhat dark turn with some comments about other faiths, and he would come to mend this relationship somewhat, where he turned a corner and said he likes them again through watching Jonah Hill on 21 Jump Street. A good joke. Today, Ye continues to live as a born-again Christian and has tried to instill these values upon his kids. He expressed concerns that his daughter was posting on TikTok and wrote on Instagram, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will." In an interview, he also said that he didn't want to see his daughter wearing lipstick on TikTok. Kim later agreed to ban North from posting on TikTok when she discovered that North was posting videos of herself singing lyrics from the rapper Ice Spice, which is most definitely not appropriate for a 9-year-old girl. At the same time though, Ye has been hosting events that contradict his newfound or cyclical Christian faith. Footage from a Yeezy rave in May this year looks like something out of a cult, with not even scantily clad, all nearly bare naked women with crosses concealing their breasts. In June, he spent his 46th birthday eating sushi, which was served on naked women. And despite Ye wanting to protect North from posting on TikTok, she was present at this party. With Ye, nothing is ever really straightforward. And it is a testament to seeing someone, even at his age, struggle with faith, try to come towards it, be pulled away from it, and you never really know what's going to come next. But I guess the most important part is his steadfast belief. Make sure to subscribe for more.